My name is Antoni Kraniewicki, and I have exiledsurfer with me. Hi.
Hey, how's it going, man?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm having a good day. Yeah.
Nice. So exiledsurfer is of Parallel Police and Sovryn BTC. You're going to run a hackathon soon, next week. Starting next week, our hackathon 0x Hack is wrapping up on Monday. And yeah, we're going to talk about hackathons today.
Yeah, man. Cool. So I think one of the coolest aspects about hackathons is the social nature of it, is that people get together either virtually or in a physical space. And it's, it's like hanging out in a band, basically. And what's really cool about the crypto space is how networked we are across different, communication sites. And so I did a podcast a couple days ago with Corey Petty, Hashing It Out podcast, and Andre saw that and reached out to me over Twitter, said, hey, he was interested in the hackathon. And so I was familiar with 0x happening because when I talked to Status, IM, my old alumni company, and said, hey, do you guys want to partner with us on Sovrython? They said, no, we're busy with 0x Hack that's happening at the same time. We don't have the bandwidth to do that, right? And so and familiar with it from being on Gitcoin, and Andre reached out to me on Twitter, which is where pretty much like my whole professional crypto life has happened, just meeting people over Twitter, and we started talking, and so we're now basically, collaborating together, on expanding awareness of hackathons in this space. So Anthony suggested I come on the podcast, and here we are. So
happy we had a chance to connect. Big shout out to Status. I loved working with them. A great team, and they were a great help in organizing 0x Hack. This is the first edition of 0x Hack, and our goal was to onboard blockchain newcomers to the blockchain ecosystem. And I think we did a pretty good job. We were aiming at around 200 participants, but checking Gitcoin now, we have over 900 participants. And we're doing feedback sessions today, so we are talking with many of the teams. And from what I gathered, a lot of them are blockchain newbies. It's their first project built on blockchain. So I'm really happy to see the community growing. We're also running 0x Poland, which is a series of meetups with guest speakers from all around the world, from some top projects. And yeah, it's both of these initiatives work really well to get more developers into the Ethereum ecosystem and other blockchains.
Yeah, we have a little bit of a different target for contributors to the hackathon. We're looking like for more experienced developers, not really introducing people to DeFi, but to bring the Bitcoin people over to experience what happens on Gitcoin. There's really not an equivalent in the Bitcoin space where you have people coming together to develop applications on top of Bitcoin. They all happen in their own little citadels or islands and things like that. And Gitcoin is just really, I think, one of the coolest applications that came out of the Ethereum wave, right? They've recently spun out from Consensus, and now actually yesterday, did you claim your GTC coins yesterday? I did. So that's cool. They actually have their own token now, participate in governance. Kevin Iwaki, Connor O'Day, and Vivek, wow, phenomenal colleagues in the branch, right? They have really built an amazing platform. What is the amount now? 12.5 mil that they've raised for open source development. That's just like a stunning achievement. And also Gitcoin, is on the forefront of so many different things. First implementation of quadratic funding, the proposed by Glenn Whale and Vitalik. First we were talking about quadratic voting, and then we got to quadratic funding. So the Gitcoin team has just been like on the forefront of that, and all of the amazing projects, all of the different hackathons that have been done there. What is it? 92,000 developers across the planet that are available on Gitcoin, and UI UX people. It's just an amazingly rich community that has just driven a huge amount of the development on the Ethereum side, right? And since Sovryn is based on Bitcoin, but using the rootstock chain, adding the composability of Solidity contracts is what makes the layer 2 Bitcoin DeFi on Bitcoin possible. And so as we've been building the team out from at the beginning of the year, it was 14 people, and now we're 60. We started looking for looking for Solidity devs, and so I started calling into my network, which is not shallow, since having been involved with so many different projects and hackathons and conferences in the space. And basically all the OGs or any of the young Gs that I know were all working, right? Nope, sorry, no time. Can work for you part-time, can do contract review for 2 days or whatever. And basically everywhere that we looked, either UI or UX people or Solidity developers were just not to be found in the space. And yet here's this community on Gitcoin, which is exactly those people, right? So the primary target group for us is onboarding new talent into Sovryn with integrated products that we want to continue funding with grants later. And Gitcoin is just the place to do that. And then bringing the Bitcoiners over to see how that actually all works. And having been, originally a Bitcoiner, inviting all of my colleagues that are interested in advancing DeFi on Bitcoin now to also give talks and do workshops and mentor. And so it's a cross-pollination of the two chains that will hopefully bring communities together and accelerate development across the whole space.
Yeah, absolutely. Like from what I've seen, there's quite a lot of competition between Ethereum and Bitcoin, and a lot of Ethereum maximalists post about DeFi. So I'm happy to see more of that options for Bitcoin, and I like the cooperation between Solidity and the Bitcoin network. And yeah, and Gitcoin was absolutely great. They enabled us to build a community of 0x hackers really quickly. Big thanks to Leo and Connor from their team. They helped us out a lot. And yeah, so why don't you tell us more about Sovrython and what's going to happen in the next weeks?
Cool. Let's see. Why don't you let me share my screen now.
Sure.
I always love sharing my screen. People see what tabs you have open in your and how many tabs you live with on a daily basis. Let's see here. So everybody, you guys are hopefully familiar with Sovrython.sovryn.app. That's where it is that you can go to sign up. We have basically a sign up form, which is a type form, and allows you to go through and start a journey, and give us a little bit of information about where it is that you stand in the space, and when you've learned about crypto and what you want to do at the hackathon. And at the hackathon, you can hack. We're still accepting judges, and we're still accepting speaker applications and partners that want to submit bounties that we would match on Gitcoin. So you can choose any of those journeys and let us know then a little bit more about yourself. For the hackers, so basically we have these central areas that we're focusing on. And you can select what you're interested in hacking on. So in decentralization solutions, Bitcoin mining futures, fiat gateways, wallet integrations, analytics and simulations, chain explorers, privacy shielded transactions, subgraphs on RSK. So these are all areas that we will be having the bounties posted on, which will go live on June 4th when the hackathon starts. So you can go through that journey and then end up on the GitHub. I'm sorry, on the Gitcoin page. So that's what's essentially how you can get involved. And so what you're looking at here is actually an interface of where the hackathon will take place. Right now, it's just a sign-up form, but this is built on a platform called Sphinxchat, which is an open source project that Parallely Polis developed last year to do the non-con hackathon. And non-con was essentially our first virtual hackathon with Parallely Polis because the pandemic started. So actually, EdCon from the Ethereum space was supposed to happen in Vienna at the same time last year, and then it got canceled because of the pandemic, and everybody was planning on coming to Vienna. So we thought, okay, there was no lockdowns in Vienna yet, and we thought we'd just have people come to Vienna for a hackathon and a conference. And then lockdowns came in Austria, and so we just decided to do a virtual hackathon last year. And to do that, we built this this open source tool, which is an implementation of Jitsi, and in it there was live stream connections and the speaker schedule, the calendar. This is all in an interface that you can size the windows on and decide what it is that you want to be paying attention to. There's direct link to Discord chat, so the chat channel for the conference. And then we had implementation of the proof of attendance protocol token, POPE as it's known, and we had 3 different tracks that we did live streaming for. So what it is that you see here, the same type of interactive virtual space for you to meet in and watch the live streams and speak with people will be available on Sovrython.sovryn.app. This is where the hackathon will take place. This is where our talks will take place. So in addition to hacking, we're doing 3 days on the first day of the conference. We'll be doing 6 hours of programming per day with speakers, so product talks from our partners, and then speakers for 3 days of content. And then there will be able to go directly into Gitcoin, check the schedule, or chat in our Discord channels starting June 4th. So right now, you also got an about button, which tells you a little bit about the event, what the prize categories are, and guidelines that I partially borrowed from 0x Hack. Actually, when I looked at their Gitcoin submission, I thought, okay, cool, they had some pretty good text for this, so I sort of reworked that. Yeah, so the Sovrython will be taking place beginning simultaneously with Bitcoin Miami, and on the 4th. And so there's also a Bitcoin Miami side event which Sovryn is sponsoring called Multi-Chain Miami, and that's a side event that's taking place, run by a guy named John Light, also known as Litecoin on Twitter. And so there will be talks about Sovryn and other things for multi-chain futures. We're live streaming that here on Sovrython and carrying that on YouTube. In the calendar, you'll be able to check the rest of the events. So it's kind of a big weekend for us to be launching a hackathon on Gitcoin on the same day that Bitcoin Miami is happening, which is actually the first post-pandemic conference for the Bitcoin community. Idan Yago will be has a speaking slot at Bitcoin Miami, and so we'll also have hopefully cameras on spot, and are going to be trying to do interviews with Bitcoiners during Bitcoin Miami that will either stream live or provide as post-produced content during the hackathon. So Sovrython is starting on those 3 days, and so people will then be able to explore the prize bounties and see what it is that they want to get involved in, hook up in the Discord channel, start building teams, and then go after. And then they have 6 weeks to submit their projects. And so that will be, the submission deadline is the 15th of July. And then starting on the 16th of July, we will again have 3 days of content and panels and discussions, hopefully with more people intersected between the Ethereum and the Bitcoin community, because the hackathon has been running for 6 weeks. So we will be doing additional programming for the last 3 days of the conference, hopefully very, very timely, with people that have met during that time frame and are more aware of the hackathon. Hopefully there's Bitcoiners and Ethereans actually submitting projects. So the talks will be programmed then for that time frame. And then on the 18th of July, we'll be doing the, so 16th and 17th, we'll be doing the judging together online. Anthony will be a judge. We've got an amazing list of judges. Let me just find the place where it is that I've got this in a tab. La 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 la. So,
do you know when you will be ready to publish the schedule?
Yes, we're going to be publishing the whole schedule next week. So press release will be going out on Monday, and yeah, we'll have all the information in it. Good. So the judges that we've got lined up so far are Corey Petty of the Bitcoin podcast and Status I Am, Max Hillebrand from Parallelipolis, and he's a Wasabi wallet developer. Jörg Platzer is an old school Bitcoiner. He's from Room 77, is known as the philosopher of Parallelipolis in Prague. And Jörg Platzer had actually a bar in Berlin called Room 77, where all the Bitcoin meetups were happening, and was the first place that I actually ever spent Bitcoin, buying a whiskey for Smari McCarthy, who's a member of the Iceland Parliament for the Pirate Party. He was there, and I was in Vienna, and I bought him a whiskey by scanning a QR code, and he paid for it in Jörg Platzer's bar. This is also the bar where Gavin Wood and Vitalik Buterin, sitting at a window table, decided to launch Ethereum. So he's like an old school guy that's seen a lot in the space. We've also got Munib, who's the CEO of Stacks. So in our effort to be doing this multi-chain collaboration and also DeFi and Bitcoin, we're reaching out and partnering with what some people see as competing projects in the space. Those of us that are inside building the projects don't really see them as competitive. So Munib, who's been doing a huge amount of work for years in building the Stacks ecosystem, is going to be judging. We've also got Greg Osuri, the CEO of the Akash Network. The Akash Network is one of the our partners who'll be posting an additional $100,000 in bounties and grants for the hackathon. He's going to be a judge. Boris Mann, he's founder of Efficient Codes and is a well-known community member across Ethereum. I've worked with him on many hackathons. We've also got Brantley Milligan, who's the business developer for ENS Domains, for the track that is for ENS and HNS integrations. Udi Wertheimer, the salty critic of basically every chain except for Tron, and have fun staying poor, is going to be a judge. Alexei Zemyatin, who's the founder and CEO of Interlay, who's working on Polkadot integrations and so cross-chain. Bridges is going to be also judging a partner bounty track that they will be sponsoring. And then Dan Held, who's known from Kraken and many other projects, will be judging. Elena Satoshi is another amazing person that we have on board. She's built 3 well-known Bitcoin companies. The first one being Satoshi Labs, and went on to do Trezor, one of the wallets that everybody depends on. And then afterwards, she went over to work with Jameson Lopp at Casa Hodl. So she's just like, an OG, kind of like the den mother of Bitcoin core developers, also a founding member of Paralelní Polis in Prague, which has been doing the cypherpunk conference for the last years, and we'll be doing another one in October, which is this year. The theme is chaos. So she's going to be there. The next person is Martin Dale. Martin Dale was a Bitcoin Core programmer and went on to work on the Fabric protocol, which he originally mentioned to me in 2017 at Paralelní Polis in Prague. And here we are, 5 years later, and he's basically working on layer 3 Bitcoin solutions. We've also got the real smuggler, who's going to be talking about Scrit Cash. He's an old school cypherpunk, also one of the Paralelní Polis alumni that always gives keynote talks. So he'll be participating in a panel at the end of the conference, and also going to be judging. And then, of course, Anthony, yourself from ETHWorks, and Eric Meltzer from Proof of Work. There's a huge cross section of people that we've been pulled together from across the 2 chains to be the judges for a DeFi hackathon on Gitcoin, man.
Yeah, I'll be happy to be there. It sounds like it's gonna be a good meeting place between OG Bitcoiners and new blood Ethereans that start building on DeFi.
Yeah, so let me then tell you also about the partner bounties, because we talked about that earlier. The partners that we have so far are, as I mentioned, Akash Network. They're the world's first decentralized and open source cloud. So they're going to be providing their infrastructure to anybody that wants to build on their cloud, decentralized natively with IPFS support and that whole chain of Web3 technologies. So that's really, really awesome. And then we have API 3, which is a collaborative project to deliver traditional API services to smart contract platforms. And they'll be providing 50,000 in bounties and grants, which will be matching to build on their Airnode product. So that's pretty awesome. And the Ethereum name service is also offering bounties for integrations using ENS. So again, reaching across the spectrum in terms of our partner bounties. And if there's any other companies out there or projects that want to be involved and provide additional bounties, then there's still time to do that.
Yeah, and I'd love to learn more about Sovryn and the RSK blockchain. Can you tell us more about that?
Okay, which aspect of it are you? Because it's a pretty broad scope.
To be honest, I learned about Sovryn just last week, and that's how I learned about RSK chain. From what I understand, it's EVM compatible. So Ethereum builders can build on that blockchain too. But basically, that's all I know.
Yeah, so this is like really awesome, man. A week ago, you heard about Sovryn. Here we are a week later, 2 colleagues that are basically active in the same space of expanding the awareness and development on on these chains. This is amazing. I wish there were more people like you that just like went and discovered something and then just followed it down to its logical conclusion. So there's like this debate going on Twitter at the moment, that Bitcoin's like a pet rock and nobody's doing anything and everything's happening on Ethereum, right? And there's a certain amount of truth to that. Bitcoiners have been very, very stale in terms of exploring what can be done with Bitcoin. Yeah, so I lost the thread there where it was that I was going.
RSK and Sovryn.
Oh, right. Okay, RSK. So basically, RSK is a sidechain to Bitcoin, which is merge mined with Bitcoin. So it's basically, I think it's between 44 and 73% of Bitcoin miners are merge mining RSK. I've seen different numbers, which means that the RSK sidechain is secured by Bitcoin's proof of work algorithm, which is different than the proof of stake systems of consensus. And what RSK does is it's added the ability to do Solidity smart contract implementations, right? So it's a hybrid offering the scripting capabilities that Bitcoin has not had up until now, allowing us to move computation off chain, calculations off chain, and to be able to start doing the type of DeFi products that have existed on Ethereum so far. And so it's a level 2 Bitcoin solution that offers a different set of trade-offs and guarantees in terms of the amount of trust that you have in it. So RSK has a set of federators that people are critical of, but it's essentially 15 different Bitcoin companies that all participate in signing the transactions that go across the network. And that multi-sig is also basically backed up with a security guarantee of HSMs, which are basically at the chip level, burned into silicon, to protect against collusion across the network. So it's a very, very interesting security model. Sergio De Lerner originally talked about it in 2016. They raised almost $1 billion of financing to build out RSK. So the project is very, very old and well established, but is just basically slowly gaining attention and traction. There's now, so basically, I think, well, I don't know if it's 1,600 or 1,800 Bitcoin on the system. So it's surpassed the Lightning Network in terms of Bitcoin locked on the system. And we take advantage of that at Sovryn by basically bringing the Bitcoin over 1-to-1 via a peg that is that is then available 1-to-1 on Sovryn without giving up your keys. So basically, you can go backwards for our BTC, which is essentially BTC on the RSK network. You can go back into BTC and still hold your private keys, right? So this is uniquely different than centralized exchanges, which require all of the personal data and all of the regulation, the compliant regulation, that is being demanded by fiat systems. So this is the first really truly decentralized exchange in the classic sense, where you can swap, lend, borrow, trade, market make, farming, liquidity mining on a completely decentralized platform that is basically based on a protocol that is open source and auditable in the same way that Bitcoin was. And there's a group of people that are of contributors that are funded by the protocol to bring the product and the protocol forward. What's also interesting about Sovryn is that we have a coordination token, which brought in the BTC funding in the first areas, which this coordination token is a governance token. So you stake your SOV on the platform, which gives you voting rights, and also then similarly to a stonk, delivers you equity for the participating in the revenue that's generated by the protocol. So there's no company behind Sovryn. There's no legal entity. There's a protocol which is generating access to crypto funds in order to perpetuate its own existence. So it's designed for the threat model of, you know, decentralization and not having a vector of attack in the same way that Bitcoin is.
So Sovryn is a DAO on Bitcoin?
Well, so I mean, it's not an official DAO, right? So we don't actually have a DAO. We have a protocol which has a token, which it is that people can buy, or which they can get by giveaways that we do, which allows them to participate in the governance of the protocol. So it's a little bit different than calling it a DAO, because DAOs actually have decentralized or autonomous organizations, all have you know, essentially sort of company forms. It's different than not actually having a DAO. The only thing that you could call that is a DAO about it is the multi-sig, which in the end is always what happens in DAOs. Is there's 5 or 7 or 9 people who have to sign a transaction for something to happen. And what Sovryn is doing is taking the people out of that multi-sig process with a set of federators and decentralizing that even further, and pushing that onto the protocol level. So it's basically set into space, and it just runs without anybody being able to stop it from running. So what we're trying to do is build a system that literally we can't stop. So even if somebody comes with a rubber hose, which is the classic attack vector, okay, you know, give us your private keys, and you're like, I was on a boating accident, right? And they go, yeah, okay, we're going to beat your private key out of you. That if they want to beat the protocol out of us, it's not possible. So it's designed for literally state level threat, that in the same way that Bitcoin is designed for that. The code runs, turn off the internet if you like, so we're still going to be able to trade. Yeah.
Cool. Sounds like Sovryn will put some pressure into the Bitcoin ecosystem. And yeah, about pressure, like what kind of projects are you looking for to be submitted and win bounties in the Sovrython?
Well, I mean, like I said, there's the bounty tracks that are named and are on. We're looking for, you know, arbitrary messaging bridges. We're looking for analytics, you know, the type of data, pushing that data around, APIs. We're looking for talented UI and UX developers who are skinning the kind of stuff that people are building and then presenting to us. We're looking for products, yeah, that integrate with DeFi on the different tracks that we've named, that would potentially, that are integrating with Sovryn, RSK, rootstock to other chains. And we don't care which chains they are, right? We're chain agnostic. It can be Matic, it can be the Near protocol, you know, bring us your favorite chain and bridge us to it in some way. Build a DeFi app that, you know, that exists on Ethereum already, right? Take that code, port it, make it RSK native. Essentially, the only difference between RSK and Ethereum is the derivation path of the address. We use the same addressing structure, right? Everybody connects with MetaMask, or you know, so there's this compatibility issue, and there's just all of the little bits of Web3 that just need to be integrated so people can frictionlessly participate with different applications. In the way it happens on Ethereum, should happen on RSK. And if it happens on RSK with our Ethereum bridge, we're also going to be launching a bridge to Binance chain in the coming weeks. So we've already started that process and started that work. We're talking to projects like Thorchain. just get together and make everything interoperable, people, and we'll pay you to do it. And if it's interesting and has a business model, then we'll give you a grant to develop it further. And if you continue developing it and integrating and showing that a product has a market fit with the platform, then we'll provide a launch pad for you to do a token launch on Sovryn on our Origins platform. Origins is the way that we launched the token for Sovryn. And now up next week, we're going to be doing token launches for Babelfish Money and Money on Chain, 2 products that we're integrated with, stablecoin basket and actually issuance of stablecoin. 2 very interesting projects are doing a launch on the Origins platform. They've gone through the governance process of submitting that for a vote via our community. And we'll do the same thing for the types of projects that come out of the hackathon and get through grant phase. Is we'll offer them an on-ramp to become a funded entity with a token launch and using the type of governance principles that we're doing. So the roadmap is clear forward. We know how to do this stuff. We've been doing it for years, and we just want to accelerate it in the same way that you're accelerating it. It's, we know how it works in the VC world. We know how it works in the hackathon world. We have years of experience in watching how open source development works. Now we have funding models via Gitcoin and via token launches, and the permissionless of it is the goal, is that literally you don't need a license. You don't need a government's approval, anybody's permission to be a person and be a product and to build something and to innovate and to implement it and improve the fucking world, man. We're tired of the way it is that it's been for years. The 20th century paradigm is over. The 21st paradigm is here. Okay, the 21st century paradigm is based on public-private key pair cryptography, where we can trustlessly transact with each other. Man, there's just so many applications of it, and there's millions of people around the world already using it, and let's just make it happen even faster. Let's do it together, man. Let's be crypto maximalists. Let's stop punching sideways at each other, man. Let's punch up. Yeah, we get together. This is a crypto system. There's many different rule sets. There's many different applications. There's so much innovation, happening in the space that just want to give it another kickstart. Yeah, come and do it with us. Whatever it is that your dreams are, wherever it is that you think that there can be, an integration that makes it easier for people to transact with each other and not argue with each other, and also do it with an economic incentive that is just completely, adjacent to the bullshit that's going on the planet, man. That's what this is about. Let's do it together,
Yeah, I love this idea. Yeah, let's put down an action plan for people that want to participate. So the Sovrython's hackathon starts next week on June the 4th. Yep.
Yep, and there'll be the prize, but there'll be the prize explorer on hackathons. All you got to do is click on that. There's an onboarding page. You can sign up now to onboard. There's nothing to stop you. It's just the prize bounties aren't available yet. They'll be available on June 4th. And then, man, look at it and join the Discord channel. And help build it. Find your team members, check out the talks, and just be around and connect with us online. It's borderless. It's permissionlessness. The only relevant geography is a time zone. And, it's a virtual ongoing event that people from different cultures, different backgrounds, different time zones, different chains, can just basically 24 hours a day interact with each other at the rate and level which is available to them,
Awesome. So yeah, anyone that wants to start building on with Sovryn, as you heard, you will have a lot of support all the way. From the idea up to the full working finance project. Yeah, just visit the URL that you can see on the bottom of the screen. You can sign up there, use the type form. The hackathon will be hosted on Gitcoin. If you don't have an account there, you should. and you should also be financing the grants there. It's it pays well both for the builders and the people financing. And I'm talking about the GTC government token that Gitcoin put out this week, I think.
Yeah, yesterday was that. I was really stoked. I went over there to do some work on the hackathon page, and they're like, "You got some GTC," and I went, "Oh, okay, cool." They finally did that. Yeah.
Too bad 0x hack started after April 1st, which was the cutoff date, but still, yeah, I support them very much. Yeah, exiledsurfer, thank you very much for this talk. Sovrython sounds very exciting. I'm happy to be a part of it, and I hope that Zero X hackers will also join.
Let's shout out before we finish. Let's shout out to the ETHWorks crew, right? So come on over, man. ETHWorks crew, you guys have got some talent. You got some ideas. You couldn't participate in your own hackathon, right? So come on over and participate in Sovrython with your ideas that you couldn't do for 0x hack. And Anthony will be part of this. He's also going to be assisting me with Interspace Chat. This is a great collaboration that just happened spontaneously between our projects, man. And this is what it is that we want to see, happen with the hackathon, is people connect the way that Anthony and I have connected with similar interests, and bringing synergies together to build things,
That's the way it should be done.
Yeah, absolutely. This is so awesome. Thank you so much for reaching out and inviting me on the show, man. Look forward to our future together.
Looking forward to it. Yeah, so great talking to you. Thanks again, and I'll talk to you soon.
Cheers.